Love the Drake. Alt is the pick. It can only mean one thing for your New England Patriots. That's right, folks. Mock draft is back, so stick around. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful, and thank you once again for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage, and also your first listen each and every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots, free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So smash that subscribe button, download, subscribe to, follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts to ensure that you get the latest episode as soon as it's available. I'm your host, Mike DeBate. I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. So reach out to me and let me know what's on your mind on X at MDABATENFL. And while you're out there showing some love to Locked On Patriots social media style, please follow our account there as well at LO_Patriots. And Pats fans, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. And Pats fans, it has been long awaited. Some people wait all day for Sunday night. Me and my guest today have been waiting all year for this very moment. And that means a visit from our good friend, the Count of Murphy Fisto himself, the legendary Thomas Murphy. Tom Murph.
A man who doesn't spend time with his family can never call himself a real man. So
That's right.
Here I am. Here I am. All year long, I'm waiting for this. We're waiting. Come on and send them in. Send them on in. We got some great ones this week.
You every day is absolutely overwhelm us. We really do.
No
Murph and I
kidding.
sift through all of the great mock drafts that you send in. We had a lot of entries by email, Murph. Very, very happy to see that. People are utilizing the email, utilizing social media. Send them in however you want, folks.
Right.
We will definitely decipher, go through, and we're going to pick the best of the best. And we tried to do that today here on Locked On Patriots. And I don't know about you, my friend. I think we're ready to dive right into it.
Yeah,
and
let's
we're going
do
to
it.
We're going to start with one of our true all-stars here. Maybe the guy who defined every dayer when it comes to mock draft. He and our man LJ right now at the top of the list. Very deserved tip of the cap to our man, Andrew Caraway. He can be found on Twitter at Caraway6. And this is a good one, Murph. This is a real good one. Andrew loves the Drake in this. He loves it even more than Jerry Seinfeld loved the Drake. And I got news for you. This Drake that he's pulling in here, he's not going to schedule his wedding on the day of the Super Bowl. No, he's not going to do that because he wants to be playing in the Super Bowl. So without further ado, let's take a look at it. And here is Andrew's submission for Mock Draft Monday here on Locked On Patriots. As you can see, with the number 3 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, your New England Patriots select Drake Maye, quarterback out of North Carolina. Now, Murph, I know you've been vocal about the pick that you would make, not necessarily at 3, but the pick that you would make in the first round if the New England Patriots go the quarterback route, because according to the notes that Andrew sent me, I believe Caleb Williams was taken 1 in this mock draft, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. was taken by the Washington Commanders. So Drake Maye is sitting there at number 3. He's the pick at this point for Andrew's draft. If the Patriots want to go quarterback, why is this the right move?
Well, I mean, the way May moves in the pocket is really underrated. It's kind of special. I really enjoy that. His arm talent is just off the charts, man. Tight. He hits every tight window, and makes some. He makes good decisions. Okay, his off-platform game, which everybody seems to love right now. Personally, I like a quarterback that manipulates the pocket and throws on platform, because that means you have a good offensive line in front of you. I don't want to say on par, but I mean it goes along with everything that people love in some of the superstar quarterbacks. But I am not in love with Drake Maye. I am not. I have my questions. I have my questions about all three of these guys at the top of the draft. The three quarterbacks that everybody is talking about that went before Drake here in this draft and Andrew's draft. You know, I don't think he sees the field really well. This
Mm,
is just from what I've seen right now. I don't think the competition that he's played against is at a level that you want to see out of a top three pick. Not saying that he's not a good quarterback and not going to be you know successful in the league. But it almost feels like we're dealing with Josh Allen light with Drake
mm,
May. His short game, he sprays the ball all over the place. He misses open guys. He doesn't see open guys, and I just don't know if he's the way to go. Maybe it's just in my head that I don't want to take one of these three guys here at the third pick, but it kind of seemed like Andrew took what was left and wanted to do a quarterback first draft.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I can understand the argument against Drake. Okay, I'll tell you what worries me about Drake May as a pro as well, because there are knocks to his game and things that should be a concern for the New England Patriots if they go this route. I'll tell you what I love about this kid. You mentioned the arm strength. I love the
Yep.
touch that he puts on the ball, the arc that he puts on the ball, the way that he can drop it where only the receiver can get it. To
Right.
me, I think that really speaks well about his prowess and his potential as an NFL quarterback. He can make the throws in the pocket. He can make the throws on the move. I mean, this kid has enough mobility in his legs to keep defenses honest. So
Yeah.
always remember that, folks. He's the type of quarterback that defenses have to account for, and they have to be able to defend him on every snap. There's never a situation where you can count him out of a play because he can do what he needs to do on the ground as well as through the air. I thought he handled the blitz pretty well, especially last year in his last season at UNC. Um, I thought he did a good job of being able to find holes in the opposing defense and utilize those to his advantage, especially when it comes to finding some of those underneath receivers that are going to try to get yards after the catch. So there is a lot to like about this kid and a lot to get excited about. Here's what worries me a little bit is that I think he's got a little bit too much old fashioned gunslinger in him. And
Hmm.
that's where a guy like Alex Van Pelt comes in. And I think he could be a very good mentor to Drake in that regard. I think what we see a lot from him is an unwillingness, and I say this kind of, tongue in cheek, but maybe not as much dedication as he should have to checking the ball down. I
Right.
know that's a cardinal sin here in New England, but I think there is a little bit of an unwillingness to do that. He tries to go for the hero play every single
Right.
time, and you can't do that as an NFL quarterback.
Right.
That's going to lead to having problems. And if that's the case and you try to go for the hero ball, it's going to compromise your pocket presence at the next level, folks.
Right.
That's when the rushers are going to come in and they're going to collapse the pocket. And if he has to do too much of that, he's going to end up running for his life more than he's going to end up running the offense. That's the concern I have right now with Drake May at this pick at number 3.
Yeah. With mine, it comes down to, like you said, the hero ball, um, you know, mentality that he has because things are about to get a lot quicker.
Mm,
Okay, from the
absolutely.
competition that he's facing now and the division that he plays in, things are about to get a lot faster. Those 9 interceptions that he threw last year are going to double if he keeps playing in the way that he is.
Folks, we move on and we look at number 34, Brian Thomas Jr. Patriots getting themselves a wide receiver, first round potential talent. Grabbing him in the second, I think, is a good move. This is a good move for the New England Patriots. I like the fit of Brian Thomas here in New England, Murph. What do you think?
I love it. You get like you said a first round talent down here in the second round. Thomas is the second best wide receiver at LSU, and so it's a fantastic pick at this spot. Some people might call it a reach, but I won't.
Yeah, and you know what? Murph's being very diplomatic there, and I appreciate that. Moving on, I think some solid picks right here. Number 103, Roger Rosengarten coming in at
Yeah,
offensive tackle. I think this feels a little late to address, to me, the second most important position right
yeah.
now on this team, or as Murph would eloquently argue, and maybe he's correct here, the most important position of need for the Patriots at offensive tackle. What are your thoughts on Rosengarten here coming in at 103 in terms of value for the pick they got?
I think he's a massive individual that can come in and contribute in a rotation right away. I don't think he's going to start right away, and that's what the Patriots desperately need. Um, Please go out and tag Mike Onweyu, please, because if it doesn't happen, we have zero tackles, and you can't win anything with zero tackles. But no, I think it's a good pick. A little bit late to address this, but Andrew was looking at the board and the way that it fell, and how are you going to end up, passing on Sanders at there at 68? And so he grabbed a serviceable rotational piece, a guy that has upside and maybe can get coached up here at 103.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think good value from top to bottom for Andrew. Of course, you did not think I was going to put this one to bed without mentioning number 135, Dylan Laube, running
Right.
back out of New Hampshire. One of the things that stood out in his Senior Bowl practices was that initial burst. I think that can be
Yep.
a huge asset to him in the NFL, and also his ability to catch passes out of the backfield. 68 catches for 699 yards and 7 scores during his time at UNH. I love this pick. I would love to see this kid wearing Patriot blue, Murph.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. It would be a fantastic addition to the Patriots. It'll give them that pass catching yak guy that out of the backfield that I so love. I would get wheel routes, baby, wheel routes. But I want to touch on Jalen Simpson. I think this was a
Absolutely.
fantastic pick
Very
here
good.
at here. Where do you grab him? I can't. It's early, people. 189. That's like an amazing. I believe Simpson is knocking on the door of a top 10 safety here
Mhm.
in this draft, a loaded draft. He's a good defender. There's no doubt that he needs to gain some weight. He's kind of on the thin side, 5'11", 178 pounds. My right leg weighs 178 pounds. Go eat some steak, Junior. Get some pasta in you. Load up on the pasta. He recorded 38 tackles and had 4 interceptions and broke up three more passes in 2022. He had 37 tackles, 2 interceptions. Simpson could be a nice addition to a Patriots team that has a lot of strength at this position if they bring people back.
Absolutely. And again, this has been a position of strength for the New England Patriots for a number of years. And with Ryan Belichick back in the fold, Mike Pellegrino coaching cornerbacks, I think it gives the New England Patriots continuity in the backfield where someone like a
Right.
Jalen Simpson can come in and can be a solid presence right off the bat.
And he is a center
What
fielder.
he is, he absolutely is. And whether Kyle Duggar is back or not, folks, it gives him the opportunity to contribute right away. So a solid job by Andrew. Murph, it's grading time. If you're looking at Mr. Andrew Caraway, you're grading this submission that he provided for you. What's Professor Murph handing out this time around?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed here early in the season. You know it's going to come,
Yeah.
Caraway. You know it. You know it. You got to be. You got to be solid B. You got the quarterback that I like out of the three. I just wish that you had addressed the offensive line a little sooner.
I'm going to grade him at an A minus. I thought this was a very good draft from start to finish. Again, of
It
the
was.
three prospects that the Patriots could possibly choose for quarterback, I do like Drake Maye. I'm very high on Daniels as well,
Right.
but this is, I think, a solid pick. If he's there at number 3, I don't see how you lay off of him. We didn't even really touch on
Watch
Jatavion
me.
Sanders. We didn't really even touch on Jatavion Sanders, the tight
Yeah.
end in this draft. I thought that was a very good pick. Start to finish, I think you did address a lot of the Patriots' needs. Again,
Yep.
Andrew, the reason why I'm going A minus and not A is because I do think that the offensive tackle position needs to be addressed a little earlier than number 103. But overall, a solid job. Folks, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. We've already got a draft that's near the top of the charts. But the next one, folks, I got a feeling it's going to be off the charts when it comes to Murph. Am I going to feel the same way? Will you feel the same way? Oh, if you're reading the placard over on the right side of the screen, you know which way this one is going. When we return, Alt is the pick, finally. But what do we think of the draft from start to finish? Murph and I are going to tell you when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Basketball season is in full swing, and with FanDuel, you can make cheering on your favorite green team in the hub more enjoyable, more exciting, and maybe even a little more profitable. Bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Patriots fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. Already, we have a top-of-the-class type submission from our good friend Andrew Caraway. And of course, here breaking down all the action is my good friend Thomas Murphy, the legend himself. Murph, in the previous segment, we had a Love the Drake submission from Andrew, and we talked a little bit about the pros and the cons of going quarterback at number 3. What Drake Maye can bring to the table here in New England. We also talked about some of the great subsequent picks that he made. But this next draft, Murph, I have a funny feeling is going to be a little bit more in your purview. I think it's going to be a little bit more amenable. I think it's going to be a little more palatable to our big green friend here on the opposite side of the screen. It comes from Ava in Rhode Island. Murph, we found someone that is in full agreement with you. As a matter of fact, Ava is in such full agreement with you, she's willing to go number 3 to prove it. Let's take a look at her submission here. First, folks, I do want to point out that Ava did indeed make a trade. The New England Patriots moving down to 37, but they pick up number 105. And then, of course, Los Angeles Chargers get 34 and number 228. The final product looks something like this. Murph, it's a beautiful thing for you. You may want to frame this. Obviously, number 3 offensive tackle, Notre Dame's Joe Alt. Murph, before we get into the remainder of this draft, I'm going to give you an opportunity to revel in this because you've been beating this drum longer than anybody that I know. You've been saying on these airwaves, Alt is the pick. Here's your opportunity. Tell us why Joe Alt is the optimal pick and why he may even be worth number 3 draft capital.
Yeah, he might even be worth the number 3 draft capital when you look at what he brings to the table. Joe Alt is your blindside tackle for the next 10 to 12 years, people. Some people talk a little bit about his issues with his ankle and that he's stiff. And I don't see it. I see the bend. I don't want to say he's a Canton type individual, but with the right coaching, if he can get up to see the problem is Alt is so massive that he just makes everybody look, easy to toss around. So you don't see some of the things that you normally would with left tackles or right tackles that have to work a little bit harder and he's going to have to grow. He's going to have to grow because just like I said with Drake Maye in the last segment, the competition's about to get a lot better. But he is a plug and play left tackle for 10 years in this league. He's somebody that you're going to be able to depend on to defend that blind side, whether it's the left side or the right side. But he's been a starter since his freshman year. 21 straight starts on that side of the ball. His size is unparalleled, 6'7", 317 pounds, and he's only going to get bigger and stronger. He's just a kid. He's just a kid. So no, this is a fantastic pick. This is a fantastic. Oh my God, this draft is amazing.
Yeah, this draft really, I think, hits so many of the Patriots' needs, and we're going to continue to get into that. But I think you make very good points on alt. To build a house, and we've said this several times, you need a solid foundation. Joe Alt is about as solid of a foundation as you can get.
Right,
And when it comes to a blue chip prospect at the offensive line, this is a guy that can be amazing in pass protection and absolutely lethal in run blocking. And that's what you want from this. You want someone that can protect the blind side, like Murph said, whether it's the right or whether it's the left, but you want someone that's going to be able to keep your quarterback upright and give him the
right,
opportunity to run the plays he needs to run. Joe Alt does that. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a solid protection in
right.
front of those talented players, it's not going to matter. These guys are going to get hit. They're not going to get the ball on
That's
time,
it.
and it all stems from blocking on the offensive line. So, yeah, that's why offensive linemen are so well paid in this league. That's why they're
Right.
so well valued in this league because of reasons like that. And you don't see offensive linemen taken early as much anymore, but there are still circumstances where that happens right off the bat. So if the Patriots could trade down and possibly maybe maximize this value,
That's
might
it.
make it even better. But if Alt does get the pick at number 3, I think Murph, you've laid out a pretty good reason why this would not be a poor pick for the New
Yeah.
England Patriots.
No,
So,
this is the only downside to trying to trade down here is somebody else trading up to grab him. That's why
yeah,
you have to do it in stages. You have
right.
to go back to 4, and then you have to go back to 5, and hopefully pick up more of these fantastic top 100 picks in this draft because this is a very deep draft at a lot of different areas, and I think this third pick could really help to fill some holes. But just using this third pick on Joe Alt fills a lot of holes. And then she came back and gave me a little present there in round 3.
And before we get to that
Yeah,
present, folks, we want to talk about the pick here at number 37. This is the one that they moved down for. Quarterback out of Oregon, Bo Nix. We know Christian Gonzalez is going to love this. He's been beating the Bo Nix drum.
right.
Bo struggled a little bit during Senior Bowl practices, did not necessarily have the performance that a lot of people thought he might have, but this is still a kid that can be a solid pro.
No, I really like this pick in Bo Nix. He's so taking him here is going to allow him to sit back for a year probably and watch and learn. I know,
Good
everybody
point.
talks about his age and this and that, but the pressure to start somebody when you grab them in the first round is just
Mm.
so unbelievable. Now, people here are very smart and they know that, the best way to do things is probably let these guys sit for a year. That's worked out pretty well here in the past, hasn't it? And but Nix is fantastic, and he completes 77% of his passes last year, 4,500 yards, 4 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. He had 6 rushing touchdowns last season. Fantastic. That checks that box for that, versatile type quarterback that you need. Um, there's a lot of talk that Nix is a system quarterback. Okay, I
Mm.
don't like that talk. I really don't. Everybody runs a system. Okay, Joe Montana ran a system. Okay, here in New England, Brady was the system. But other than that, I love Bo Nix. I really like this pick here. Like I said, it gives him time to be seasoned. There's not going to be that press to get him into the lineup right away, and let him go out there and battle. Whether you bring in that quarterback for 2 years or on a 2-year contract, or if you stick with one of the guys here.
So far, Ava's hitting the ball out of the park in her
Yeah,
first 2 picks, and I know you're going to like pick 3. You alluded to this earlier. This is the present that Murph was talking about. You talked about double dipping into this offensive tackle pool. Pulls off Patrick Paul, offensive tackle of Houston. Murph, I love this kid. I've watched a lot on
yeah,
him. He was one of the
yeah.
standouts at the Senior Bowl, 6'7", 315, a massive individual, folks. Want to talk about bookends?
Right,
Put him and Alt on the same line for a number of years, bring
right.
them in at the same time and have them under contract. Yeah, it's amazing. You also have to think about the fact that they're going to come up for contracts at the same time. But you know what? You're not going to worry about that right away. Great length, great quickness, great athleticism. I love the versatility that he can show. This kid can play on both sides of the line.
Yeah, exactly. He could play left guard. He could play left tackle. He could play right tackle, depending on whether or not you get a left-handed or right-handed quarterback. We're not sure yet.
Right.
So but he's just a mammoth individual, man. Like you said, 6'7". I'm thinking, he's going to play it like 340, 345. Once we start feeding him the right way, and he's really getting into the gym and doing what he has to do. He's experienced. Okay, he lined up as a red shirt freshman in 2021. His upside is fantastic. He's his ability and versatility, like Mike said, is almost on par with anybody in here. I really don't know why he's ranked so low
Mm.
by some of the experts out there. But I think he's one of the top 6 tackles in this draft, and I think he's a steal right here.
Ava's draft so far is absolutely knocking it out of the park. She addresses wide receiver,
Yeah,
folks, and she addresses it in a big way. A guy with a lot of pedigree at number 135, the son of the GOAT,
right.
arguably, in terms of wide receivers. Although I think Randy Moss deserves a little bit more credit than he gets in that regard. But bottom line, Brendan Rice, this kid at 135, I
Yeah.
think another steal here, Murph.
Yeah, it is. Rice is just, he's got it all. The only thing that gives me pause is, again, the conference that he plays in and the
Mm,
defenses that he faces. We all learned that the hard way with N'Keal Harry. We all scratched our head on draft night and wondered, and then we went and looked at tapes, and it was fantastic. Are we seeing the same thing with Rice? I don't think so. I think that this kid's pedigree um, pushes him to a point where you don't have to worry about that work ethic. You don't have to
mm.
worry about him fighting for balls out there. I think this is a fantastic pick. I'll take it.
Yeah, very good as well. And before we wrap up and grade Ava's draft here, I do want to give a little love to a pick that may fall under the radar, and that's the pick that she used at number 105 with the trade with the Chargers, picking up
Yeah,
Dwayne Carter out of
right.
Duke, a defensive tackle. Murph, I know the Patriots don't have an immediate need on
No.
defense, especially at the tackle position, but
Yep.
uncertain future for Devon Godchow. Big contract there. Do the Patriots maybe try to move it? We've heard some rumblings that that might be the case as of late. There are still uncertainties there. And if you can get someone that can come in and contribute in terms of run defense right off the bat, that's where this kid really, I think, shines. He can be a good pass rusher, 21 and a half tackles for loss, 11 sacks during his 4 years with the Blue Devils, 19 tackles, 10 assists, and 15 stops in
Right.
2023. Um, this to me is where I think he could really see the field as a run defender in a reserve role for the Patriots if he's selected. I like the upside to this kid. He's a project,
Me too.
but I think a project that the Patriots could really massage and really utilize well.
Right.
I'd love to see what DeMarcus Covington could do with this kid.
Exactly. Covington is going to love this kid. He's a hard worker. He's somebody that takes up a space and eats up the run. He loves to get after a ball carrier and just make him regret ever hitting whatever hole might have been there a second ago. Uh, his lateral movement needs some work, but I think that, like you said, as part of the rotation and allowing him to get that, I don't want to call it a red shirt season, but a second string season, a part of a rotation, is going to only help him in the long run. And good job on you, Hun, for drafting not only, I don't want to call it a position of need yet, but seeing the future and taking care of that. It's a very Belichickian move.
Murph, we're at grading time here for Ava. You have needs. She checked them all.
Okay.
I really think she checked these all. I know which way Murph is going to go on this, so I'm going to give you your chance to shine in a minute, folks. This is a solid A draft to me. I think she checked all the boxes, and I think she did it admirably. What say
Yeah,
you,
this
Don Murph?
this is a magna cum laude freaking draft. Okay, just prepare your speech now. Just prepare it now. Okay, if anybody knew how to please me, then it's this draft right here. You hit on every single need. You hit with authority, and you set this lineup, this offensive lineup for the next decade. And like Mike said, the only drawback is the fact that you're going to have to pay both these tackles in the in the same.
Yeah. At that moment, Bud, that's when we bring in our man Miguel. He takes the spreadsheets.
Patch
He lets
cap.
us know
Go
how to
check them
work it
out.
out,
Yep.
and then he sends that information over. And the powers that be at Foxborough, definitely have a good man when it comes
Right.
to that example. But now, all kidding aside, Ava, a tip of the cap, excellent job, Murph. So far, I think we're 2 for 2 with home
Yeah.
run type drafts here. We have
Exactly.
amazing everydayers. We got amazing fans all throughout the fan base. Patriots fans should get more credit for being savvy when it comes to scouting talent and being able to plug in to where these players will be able to succeed.
Right.
It's a new regime. It's a new dawn, a new day here in Foxborough, and you're already taking a lot of pages out of the new Alex Van Pelt book, out of the Gerard Mayo book. Very impressive so far. And Murph, we are not done yet because we've got one more on the list. Yeah, he loaded up with some 2025 draft picks, but the talent he received in return and what he did here may actually be in the Patriots' best interest for number 20 for the year of 2024. Murph, we are going to break this down. I know you're chomping at the bit to get to it. Folks, we are going to break down a wide receiver being the first pick of the New England Patriots at number 16. Yeah, that's right. Some trades and some moving around up on the board, but we're going to bring it to you all when we close out this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On listeners, we've all been there. You want tickets to the big game or your favorite musical artist, and you just can't find an easy and affordable way to get them? Well, you shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event, because Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. And here's the part I love most. Game Time's all-in prices show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without all those hidden fees. Game Time is actually obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets, and that includes their zone deals, where you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find the tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKED ON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKED ON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. It's the day we've been waiting for all year. It's great to have the mock drafts back in the house. It's always great to share the microphone with my good friend, the legendary Thomas Murphy. And Murph, so far we've already had a love the Drake type draft. We've had an alt is the pick type draft. I've already given out 2 A's. This is amazing, folks, right off the bat that we're getting the quality of drafts that we're getting this early. We're honored and humbled by the support we receive here on Locked On Patriots on Mock Draft Monday. And folks, keep them coming because we are just getting started. Murph, our good friend Matt Urban, he can be found on Twitter at Matt Urban, 2 U's, folks, not 2 Utes, 2 U's, MATTUURBAN. And Matt was able to move around the board a little bit, but he did secure a couple of first rounders in 2025 that really could help this team in the long run. When you can pick up a first rounder from Las Vegas in 2025 and a first rounder from Seattle in 2025, you're setting yourself up for a pretty good draft. So this is the one reason why I wanted to focus on Matt's work today, because the tip of the cap, if you can pick up 3 first rounders for the New England Patriots next year, 2 by trading in this draft, yeah, you're doing something right. Let's take a look at what he did, folks. Matt Urban has traded around the board, and now instead of picking 3, your New England Patriots are picking at 16, and they address a big need on this team. Murph and I have not been as high as addressing this early on as some others, but it's hard to argue that the Patriots need a game-breaking type receiver. Do they have it, Murph, in Malik Nabers?
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. Malik Nabers is the reason that I am not high on LSU's quarterback. They Malik Nabers is a rare talent. I feel like he is the uh the 1B in this draft at the wide receiver position. He will make any quarterback look good. He would make me look good if I was back there playing quarterback. You could bring Julian Edelman back here and give him a second career as a quarterback, and Malik Nabers is going to make this guy look good. Fantastic pick. Good working around the board. I know that we talked about keeping it in this draft, but what you were able to do here, bud, was just fantastic. So we had to throw the rules out the window, and picking up 2 first rounders next year, giving the Patriots 3 first round picks is fantastic. And then they could probably be able to go and get the quarterback that they wanted to in 2025, even though people are saying that next year's draft class isn't as good as this year's draft class. I think it is. I think it really could be.
Yeah, and I mean some of that is hype as well. You want to make sure that teams
Right.
are investing in quarterbacks. You know as well as I, draft experts as well as potential agents are trying to pump the tires of this quarterback class. Invest. Don't wait until next year. There are arguments to the contrary, and there are arguments to the pro about next year's class not being as talented as this one. But folks,
Right.
there will be quarterback talent next year as well. And if the New England Patriots are not sold on any one of these guys being the guy, you don't want to take one just for the sake of taking one. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. We've
No.
tried to do it here in New England the last couple of years and it just hasn't worked out. You don't want to go that route again and essentially find yourself regretting another first round pick on a quarterback.
And this kid, oh God, man, this kid,
Mm,
oh Neighbors, he's
yeah.
just fantastic. And it's like I said, he's one of the reasons that I am not high on Jaden Daniels. It's
Mm,
because of the talent that's around him. We've seen it before. We've seen it up close, people,
mm.
as to how important those wide receivers are in making these prospects, and they are prospects, look good on Saturday afternoon, and whether or not it translates to Sunday.
Absolutely. And one thing that I did like about what Matt did is he double dipped at a couple of positions, at skill
Yep.
positions that the Patriots do need help on. And at number 77, he brings in Jalen Polk, the wide receiver out of Washington. I think
Yep.
this is good value as well. So he took those acquired picks, number 16 and number 77,
Right.
invested in the wide receiver position. And I think he did a good job of getting two complementary guys that can be contributors right off the bat, regardless of who is throwing him the ball, because these guys have the talent to make quarterbacks look better.
Yeah, he really does. Jalen Polk is a fantastic guy that is a little under the radar because what Rome was able to do on the other
Right.
side of that vaunted Washington offense. He ended up with 73 receptions for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. He has good size at 6'2", speed, and he runs a fantastic route. He really does. From the limited watching of this. If you need him to get to a spot, he gets to it and he's open. If you can find a quarterback that is going to be able to throw a receiver open, this is the receiver that you want.
I guess this pick you can probably say Matt made for Claire. Maybe a couple of them that he made for Claire because tight endage is addressed here in this draft. Jatavion Sanders, once again, the tight end out of Texas. I love this pick. I think this kid is a plug and play ready tight end. And one of the things that I loved about Matt's draft is the faith that he's showing in Jared Wiley at number
Yeah.
103. Look, Wiley is someone that is right now, I think, hovering in the middle part of most draft boards. He could possibly go into the latter part of day 3, or he could possibly go early on day 3. I'm not quite sure he's at the day 2 level just yet. But with only LaMichael Petaway under contract, the Patriots have to address this position. Now,
Right.
if they decide to bring back Hunter Henry, then I think Wiley could be a solid complement, maybe even the tight end heir apparent, because this kid is raw. He needs some work,
Right.
but at 6'7", 260 pounds, he's got the size, he's got the field awareness, and he can succeed in multiple alignments. He's not the
Right.
type of kid that's married to one type of system. In his senior season at TCU last year, 47 receptions, 520 yards, 8 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns.
When he aligns slightly flexed away from the tackle, that's where this kid can really go to work. And he can
Yep.
be a pass catching option and even a very good blocker. So
Bust those seams.
Absolutely. And if
And
that's the case,
he does block. He gets out there in
he
the
does.
pattern and he's blocking out there, and I
Yeah.
love that. And you could have a steal here in
Yeah.
where do you grab him? Round 3,
103. Yeah. They grabbed him
103?
at number
And
103
yeah.
overall.
So,
Yeah.
it's right in the slots where I think he's gonna end up going between rounds 3 and 5. Good pick. Yep.
Murph, we're grading time. What do you say when it comes to Matt Urban's suggestion today?
This is an A-plus draft. It
Mm,
really is. When you take everything into consideration, what Matt was able to do, even extending out to next season, this was an A-plus draft. He hit every single need. He got me 2 tackles, one early, one late. So I don't want to call the second tackle that he grabbed might be a bit of a project, but other than that, depth is key, and adding
mhm.
that's what he did with this draft. Plus, got that burner at the top that everybody wants for their fantasy team, and I think is one of the best wide receivers to come out in the last few years.
Without question. Yeah, this is a solid A draft for
He'd
me
be
as
he'd be
well,
a number.
Matt.
That kid would have been a number 1 wide receiver at any other program.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. And for the reasons that Murph just said, it's a solid A draft for me too, Matt, without question. Build for the future. That's what Matt did here, and that's why he deserves an A. So,
He did.
folks, a tip of the cap. Hats actually should really come off for this because
Yeah.
from Andrew's submission to Ava's submission to Matt's submission, we got 3 solid mock drafts. Keep them coming in all throughout the week. It doesn't have to be right at the 11th hour. You can keep them coming in each and every day. If you're running the mock draft simulator, you're putting work into it. A lot of our listeners, by the way, don't use the simulator. They actually select
Yeah.
each and every pick, and they put a lot of work into it in time. Send it in, because if we like it, we'll feature it here on Locked On Patriots.
Yep.
And we absolutely thank you all for sending in some great work. And folks, all of you everydayers, all of you casual listeners, and all of you first timers, we appreciate each and every one of you. On behalf of my good friend, the Don of Locked On Patriots, the legendary Thomas Murphy, I'm Mike Debate, reminding you all to stay safe and to stay well and to be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow on Locked On Patriots.